Swedish vulva. This is the vulva, right? All right, and then the clitoris. So the clitoris, if you ladies and gents will look at the top here, that it looks like it's like hanging this way. That little part, that's the part that most of us see and think that's the clitoris. People call it like a little bean or a little fleck. Again, according to our tissue health, our general anatomy and development, some of these features will be more pronounced and more recessed for us ladies. Does that make sense? So some of us will be more pronounced. So usually ladies who have more androgen or androgen exposure, when in utero, they'll have more pronounced labia or different times of development. All right, but then obviously with chemo and cancer and atrophy, menopause, perimenopause, they're very hormonally sensitive, right? Lauren talked about that earlier. So the flaccid clitoris, this is actually, we can't see this, the flaccid clitoris, when it becomes erect, it balloons out. Did anyone not know that? Anyone? You all knew that? Great, yeah, I love it. So basically to ignore the clitoris in intercourse would be to ignore a penis. Let me put it that way. That's how important your clitoris is. If you ignore the clitoris and don't spend any time loving on her and stimulating her, you basically should ignore the penis. And I don't know how many of you have been with partners that want their penis ignored, but I don't know of any. Does that make sense? Thank you, keep laughing, y'all. Laughter's good. All right, so another shot of an engorged clitoris. Again, most of this is happening behind the scenes, all right? And it innervates into the pelvic floor. The anatomy of the clitoris and the penis. So you can see some pretty fun similarities there. Give you a minute to look at that. You have any questions or thoughts on that? Any fun revelations, like holy smokes, I didn't realize my clitoris was that important? Anyone? Most couples I work with, I'm like, talk to me about your knowledge of the clitoris. And they're like, you just flick it? You rub it really hard? Don't do that. Most ladies don't like that. And something that's interesting to hear about regarding the clitoris, it's true, it's raw. Most women if they do orgasm during intercourse or even after, whenever they orgasm, their clitoris or the outside, the glands becomes very sensitive. So a lot of times ladies go from intense pleasure to, don't touch that, that hurts. Ooh, that hurts, stop, it feels painful now. Right, so it's very quick that women go from intense pleasure to pain. And that can be very confusing for a woman, but also her partner who's like, that you were just like into it, now you're like shoving me away, right? And so that's where a lot of communication and discussion and education comes in for couples of understanding my anatomy is a little different than yours. I have 10,000 nerve endings, you have 3,000. Things are gonna be a little more sensitive for me. Does that make sense?